You did walk it back. You walked it back after the You walked it back after the Yasuo Shogo game.
Shut the up.
Everyone was so convinced on CCG after that
Should have been like
Supernova
TDS
win.
and not come on the show, Quax. Then you would be stalwart in your convictions.
Oh, but
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Salt Mine. We missed a week, so we are coming in with 2 in 1 week, basically. Or maybe this will just replace this upcoming week's episode. We'll figure it out one way or the other. But this is Season 6, Episode 4. And we got to squeeze one in here now that the NACL regular season is over.
Yep.
We basically skipped NACL entirely last week to talk purely about ACL. Now we're going to do the reverse. There's been no
we're
ACL
talking about the better
games.
tournament anyway, so
ACL is the better tournament. We can pseudo open with that in a second because Jesus, it's tough out there to be watching this NACL format. But now there's been no ACL games since we last recorded, so we can talk all about NACL. The regular season is now over. We're going to do like an abridged version of our all-star teams. I still like the all-star exercise. I would still like to talk about who I think the best performers are for the regular season. While we still have some parity, while everybody has still played everybody else exactly the same amount of times, barring a Blue Otter Conviction series that never actually got played. But 9 best of ones is not representative. We're not going to spend 2.5 hours talking in depth about our all-star picks. I think you have to put an asterisk by these all-star awards.
Yeah, this is definitely like the compared to what we did like last season, this is like a Timu light version of that shit.
Yeah.
Which sucks to say. That's part of the reason why I hope this also isn't the permanent format, because imagine from here on out our all-stars are judged by best of ones. I will actively, I can't say on the show, but
if they did double round robin, if they did old school LCS format, I could maybe tolerate it.
Yeah, but I mean, I just like the I liked the previous format. Nothing was wrong with the best of threes. Like I felt like that was perfectly fine. And also, you know, there's 8 teams in the playoffs instead of 10, and I feel like a lot of people are maybe wishing we went back to 6, because the bottom of the barrel here for these teams that made NACL, it was a bit of a controversy, gentlemen. Obviously, we'll get into that later, but
there is made playoffs.
Yeah.
Before we get into doomerism, how was everyone's couple of days? It's been what, 3 or 4 days since we last recorded. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just got back from seeing that Weapons movie that has been advertised constantly on YouTube, Twitch, and basically everywhere. Thought it was pretty good. I was expecting, like, obviously. Now, listen, I'm not one of those people that like looks at the Rotten Tomatoes score and judges and says, oh God, okay, this movie must be good, because they have been wrong plenty of times. The people at Rotten Tomatoes are actually kind of stupid. But it gives me a nice metric.
People at Rotten Tomatoes just like all reviewers, or are you saying the audience?
There aren't any people at Rotten Tomatoes.
They're all reviewers, but like, okay, fine. The collective hive mind of Rotten Tomatoes usually isn't the most accurate, but it allows me to ballpark my expectations. And then you see a movie that has like 100% and like stays like that for several days. My expectations were pretty high. I was expecting it to match like Sinners, which I've gone on record saying is like by far my favorite movie and probably this year and one of my favorite movies of all time. Didn't get that, but I would definitely slap a good old shiny silver medal on it. I think it's probably the second best movie I've seen all year. Had a really interesting third act, which I won't say anything about because I feel like it's really good if you just go into this movie blind. So I recommend everyone go see it, though. I think it is worth your time.
I kind of want to confirm something, Quax. Is it actually horror, or is it like slapped horror moniker to try and bring people in?
I feel like it's a mix of. I feel like the best horror movies are like ones that have hybridized genres. So yes, it is horrifying. There were a few jump scares that legitimately fucked me up.
I won't see it. Thank you.
It's like thriller. It's more like thriller-esque, especially toward like
Now
the
you
middle
lost me
chunk.
there. I'm sorry. I cannot watch anything horror related. I'm sorry.
It's also got a shitload of like this movie definitely is like in its own right. It's a dark humor movie. Like there's one particular sequence toward the end of the film that had me laughing. I won't admit, like I was laughing out loud. I thought it was really funny. So there are plenty of fun moments, which I think are rare in a good horror movie. I recommend you all go see it. That's all I'm going to say. That's what I've been up to. That and working retail, which has been really fun in this summer heat.
That's good.
Obviously,
my whole movie backlog right now is like horror movies. I guess that's just what's come out.
That's good.
Dude, the genre is taking over. Like, there's another movie.
I need to see that. I still need to see Sinners. I've been told that what is this called?
That movie is not horror. That movie is not horror.
All right, well,
that is
I don't know. I haven't
thriller
seen
movie.
it, but I don't know. I've been told
but
I need to see.
They said it was horror.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
It's not horror. It's not horror. If you get scared by Sinners, I don't know, man. I do not.
I can
think
assure you that probably
scares
me, but like I'm the worst person ever to really mention anything about horror because like I get
I'm a
jump
pussy
scared
too,
by
and
anyone
even
in the wall. Like my levels of being jump scared is something that I don't think
I need to see the Robert Eggers Nosferatu. I need to see Long Legs. I heard Long Legs was really good.
It's okay, TDS. It's okay, TDS. Horror is the most overrated genre in all of cinema. So you
fuck you, bro.
Most overrated, oversaturated, worst written genre in the entirety of movie.
Dude, fuck off.
All right, well, so
horror is
the
great.
Real horror.
It's not usually that.
The real horror is
unless Slayer has a quick film take to add in. The real horror is the NACL format.
I mean, I guess I saw Fantastic Four since we were gone, but
was it good?
I mean,
it was all right. I thought it was all right. What'd you think?
I thought Superman was better.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched Superman and liked it as well.
I agree.
I did see Superman. Superman's like the only movie I've seen. I've seen Superman, and I saw the Until Dawn movie. By coincidence, I had a friend over. We wanted to watch something bad, and we watched something bad. It was bad.
Yeah,
I really want to watch that. I really want to watch that new War of the Worlds film with Ice Cube.
Oh, the worst movie they said.
That's been like rampaging its memes across the internet, and I keep seeing clips of it. And like Kai Cenat is in it for some bumfuck reason, and he gets like burned or so. He literally has like a meteorite strike his house.
I feel like those kind of movies need to come back. That's a good sign of movies coming back, is that if there's like a movie so bad that people are talking about them in a nice enough way, like I think that's good for movies, because that means that we're going back into a point where that's still good to see.
Film is saved.
Yeah,
as a medium.
good bad movies.
Yeah, but reusing jokes. The real horror is the NACL format. I don't. It feels ridiculous making this list after 9 BO1s. Like just going in, pulling.
I don't feel comfortable doing it at all. In fact, I didn't have time to like talk about it before we went live. But like, I honestly might have been like, "Fuck it, veto this shit," because I feel like it's difficult to, like you said, rank players based off of like nine fucking games is insane to say like, oh yeah, this person's bad. So I feel like there is not going to be a ton of parity between our lists, but not the good kind of discussion like we had when we were power ranking the teams.
Yeah, but it's
a
also
bad
like,
kind of discussion.
I mean, listen, if we had been good podcasters doing an episode every single week, maybe we could have scrapped this. But now we have to cover like 7 games a team all in one episode, so we might as well do the all-star teams as like a good way,
I guess,
to summarize the whole split.
We now have to fill the void of other shows ending as well. Since Travis Gafford is out, we kind of have to get into it as well. So
shit, yeah, we have to take over. Those viewers are left stranded with nothing to watch.
We have to start taking call-ins from people who don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say these viewers are real. A lot of his viewers are definitely gonna.
They're lost men. We need to guide them to the light of NACL.
If I have any criticisms of Travis Gafford, I would have liked if they did a little bit more with Tier 2 and Talent Dev. Like, he always defended it conceptually, but he never made an effort to, like, get people into it. Which, I mean...
Which is funny because they brought Covey, and they brought Kangas, like, multiple times, and I don't think they ever really attempted it.
Yeah. And I get it. They're, like, chasing the algorithm. They're trying to, make TGI profitable and stuff. I get it. But, would have been nice. Anyway, I do have one take before we get into all-star teams, because this idea hit me today, and I was like, I want to go and look at some data and see if it's true, and I think it might be. So I'm sure we all have this same opinion that going back to a best of one format, which is effectively a non-fearless format, feels like walking in the mud, right? It is like so stagnant, just seeing like the same picks game after game, and part of me is like, is this just like being fearless pilled, right? Are you just seen fearless for the whole year now that it just like feels so sluggish going back to normal? I do actually think, and I would love to hear a coach's opinion on this, I think the drafts have unironically gotten more similar to one another in a post-fearless world. Like my theory is people are scrimming fearless, right? They're doing blocks of 3 or blocks of 5, where at least the first 3 are fearless. And that has led to far less mental energy from coaches and players being expended on like innovating game 1 drafts, right?
So
like nobody's trying to like next level the like meta picks non-fearless drafts anymore. And I think it's like I think it's objectively visible in the games. Like you would just see that like the presence of the highest presence champions is just higher than it was previously. And obviously a 44 game sample of NACL single round robin best of 1 could never prove this like statistically. Like you can't get a valid what do they call it? P score, whatever.
yeah.
For the data here, but I do really like I think that this is true.
I think the only way to compare it would be if you go back to like 2023 and see like the sort of drafting that went there.
Yeah,
and try and see like one for one on that.
Here's what I did do,
way.
because I already have this data like just sitting in my Excel sheets. I went and looked at player champion combinations, because I have recorded this before to do like kind of meta snapshots to just see like who prioritizes what champions higher than anybody else, who has like gaps of the meta in their pool, that kind of stuff. And I found in 2024 spring, which was a single round robin best of 3 format, so they were playing 2 to 3 times as many games. We'll call it like 2.5 times as many games. There were 7 instances of a player, there were 3 instances of a player playing a single champion 7 times, and 3 instances of a single player playing a champion 8 times over the course of that season, and then no 9s, nothing above that. That was where it capped out. And then in 2024 summer, there were 3 instances of a player playing a champion 7 times, and 0 instances of a player playing a champion 8 times. So it capped out at 7 in 2024 summer. In 2025 summer, we have 8 players with 4+ games on a single champion, and if you just assume if you assume 4 games in a best of 1 single round robin would translate to 8 games in a best of 3 round robin, seems pretty logical to me. It's at least twice as many games, if not up to 3 times as many games. Like there's 8 players playing about half their games on the same champions. Kisno and K lead this, by the way. Their Trundle and Rumble are 5 games apiece. They've played over half the season on one champion.
And I was actually going to make a point when we were getting to top laners, because when we were like doing our like pseudo power rankings of top laners, simply because I felt like it's tough for me to like gauge some of these like, obviously I think Kisno is a little bit differently, because we can like ballpark his skill level based off of what we've seen before. We know this guy is capable of playing a ton of champions. That's not the question. K, though, doesn't necessarily have that luxury, at least not in an NACL format. And so when I was thinking over like power rankings for certain, like who would I want to put in each role, like top 3, like K obviously entered the discussion because Dark Zero are 3rd place. But it was like, I realized like, wait, this guy literally has been playing Rumble like basically every game. It does not have a ton of actual variety. So am I... like, is it fair for me to do that? This is another thing that I feel, this is another question that I feel like should not need to be asked now, but because of Fearless, it is one that almost certainly is. Like, I agree with you, Gordo. I think that Fearless has certainly conditioned us to have like, champion variety be more of a factor in like judging a player, but it has also, I think, made the characters that are actually pronounced as, you know, the best in their role like way more popular. Like you see Rumble being you know, just being shot up in priority. Pantheon is the same way. Like these champions kind of just spearhead the meta, and I think it's partially that, but it's also because we haven't had like a huge shakeup for essentially the entire year. Like I felt like the meta has basically stayed the same throughout most of 2025. There's been like some changes here and there, but I don't necessarily think it's a fault of the players, and I don't necessarily think it's a fault of the coaches. I just think that it has been so chiseled out at this point, 8 months into the year, that everyone knows what's good. Everyone knows the matchups that are being played in competitive, and there isn't a ton of variety when Fearless doesn't force you out of it.
I mean, I do also like. Go ahead, Slayer. I've talked too much. I'll loop back.
I think the one I think there are interesting like caveats to this. For like the Dark Zero one specifically, like Key. Yeah, this guy, we didn't know how many reps this guy even had on NA servers, playing with Dark Zero, you know, competitive reps. So it doesn't surprise me that they prioritize picking a very comfortable champion for him this many times in a BO1 format, right?
Yeah.
So him playing a lot of Rumble games makes sense. There are situational aspects to this, but yeah, then there's also the fact that I think right now, especially like we're talking about jungle, I think there are like a couple of I think there are like a rotating group of 3 junglers I think are like just kind of like getting picked or banned every time through. It's like
Wukong,
if you
Xin
want
Zhao, Trundle, yeah.
Yeah,
Wukong,
Wukong,
Xin Zhao,
Trundle.
I mean,
Pantheon's
I put
permabanned is the only reason I don't
Pantheon's
include him.
permabanned.
Yeah.
I mean, you could throw in like Vi there, but it's literally like
I don't think I put Vi there anymore.
It literally is like at this point it just kind of feels like a rock paper scissors, and like for jungle in particular, like I think Trundle is probably the best blind pick, right? But I think Trundle loses to Xin Zhao at certain points. I think Xin Zhao can just outduel him from time to time, and then I think like Xin Zhao obviously has his like it's literally just like a circle of suck. It's a rock paper scissors match in basically every meta, and so like you could literally write down like a spreadsheet of all of it, and that has just been beaten to death throughout the whole year. So there's been obviously like a lot of discussion about this on Twitter. God bless Drew Levin, by the way. Where, dude, that guy does not feel like a real human being. He has to be like a robot or like multiple different people on one account. But like the complaints talking about how samey the year has felt, like I feel are actually valid, right? And that's not to say that the current meta is like boring, but it's so figured out that we're running into problems like this stagnation that we're seeing in all of these drafts.
But you're mentioning this for jungle particularly or for in general? Because like I went back,
everything in general.
I went back. I'm actually just looking quickly because I was having the same because I swear this sounds so similar to 2023 talk way before we actually went back into begin Fearless, and I went back to see a little bit of 2023 and just off of the spring season of 2023, the spring split of 2023, there's 3 junglers that are prevalent, and then after that there's a kind of like a dip, which are Sejuani, Maokai, Bai. At the time,
that's way more boring than this, by the way.
Like, yeah, no, I don't say it's boring or not, but I feel like it's a pretty similar problem to what happened there, and it's because like it was only one game. So like the consistent picks are the ones that are going to dominate, and if they are not worth of a ban, be it Pantheon or anything else, like you're going to pick that in the same way. It's kind of the similar thing that is happening in this same split with Azir. Azir is the number 1 mid lane pick, 100%. But like it's not worth to ban it away. And it's good enough that you will pick it essentially for every other player. So like there's not going to be a lot of sample size coming off of what can be done against Azir or what can happen with Azir, because it's just like the better option in a BO1 scenario where you want to secure the quick victory, and you don't really need to use your use your brain to win, but like you don't need to go the extra mile to really get the victory at this point, because you can just play that one champion one game against one team and that's it. And I feel like that's kind of the problem that is going to be facing having BO1s is almost always going to be essentially this. that you may have champions that are going to just be prevalent because of the value they bring in a BO1 scenario, and obviously in Fearless BO5 that may disappear. But it's just like, since you just get one game and done, you really don't need to care that much about the champions that are going to get banned. I do think that it's a little bit of a brain turned off situation, and you try and pick the better champion in general for that. But just like, it just feels like something that has happened for the BO1 scenarios, where just 3 junglers are prevalent, and then everything else kind of changes all around. Like, looking back as well into the summer season, there were 3 junglers that were picked, and then everything else kind of went into a dip, which were Kindred. At the time, it was Maokai and Vi.
Yeah.
Sejuani
No, it
too.
was Kindred, Maokai, Vi here. Like, Sejuani was a little bit
I'm
there,
looking
but
at
it was
2023
those
summers. Sejuani's
okay.
higher presence
So it's
than Vi.
Sejuani a little bit higher. But
Yeah,
in what?
but it's all around there.
In spring or summer? Because like in
Summer.
summer
I'm
it
looking at
was a little
summer.
bit higher. But okay, fair enough. But like it's kind of the thing, and that's just the scenario for BO1s in my opinion. Like, you just get that one off and it's over.
Yeah, so
That's
I
why I think that turned off is probably the right call, the right way to put it here.
Yeah, so just looking, and again, this isn't like a holistic analysis, especially because
Yeah,
again,
no.
the map pool, the number of games is so low. There were 44 games played this summer. It's just not a like viable sample size. But
Like
like
even
if
the
you
23,
go down,
there were more games.
yeah, but like if you go down the like presence for like 2023 summer, like the 10th highest presence champion was at 48% presence. If you look at this summer NACL, the 10th highest presence champion is at 68%. So it's 20% higher than it was, like nearly, 33% higher, 20% higher arithmetically, or however you would describe it, like on a number line. So it's like the most picked champions are being picked more than the most picked champions were 2 years ago. And I do like, again, this is like, I'd like to hear a coach's take on this. Like, I do think it's like actually Fearless's fault in like a roundabout way, right? It's not hard for me to imagine. Like, I think part of why we're so settled in on this is like, in a world where even in best of series, even in playoffs, you are still stuck in this like trifecta of Xin Zhao, Trundle, who am I forgetting? Xin Zhao, Trundle,
Sejuani? No, sorry.
Wukong.
Wukong.
Yeah, Xin Zhao, Trundle, Wukong. Like,
but
you're
like,
gonna have
again,
teams that are like trying to like be next level and like push that meta and be like, we're gonna pick no tanks and a Trundle and high mobility, and then it's not as good. Or we're gonna, dip back into like scaling tank junglers, like what Tomio's doing. Like, Tomio's just spamming Maokai every game,
and I feel like,
and that's the Tomio Classic, by the way. But
yeah, but I feel like the big difficulty with that is like, especially in Fearless environments, this has been like a common complaint. Like, this is something that everyone talked about at MSI because we saw so many Game 5s. Game 5 drafts are just like the wild, wild west, right? Like Game 5, you look at like the grand finals, we saw like fucking Duro pull out the Pike, and then like Canyon went Nidalee with no CC whatsoever. So I think that there are certainly difficulties with Fearless, but like my point is more so that I feel like it's really difficult for teams to break out of the mold when the meta is so crystallized. Like, if you go to like, I have a first stand draft pulled up right in front of on my second monitor, and like, I want you to take a guess on who, like, you'll get 3 guesses on each roll on who the top laner for one of these teams is. Like, go ahead. Like, who's the top laner right now that's super fucking popular? And it's on one of these teams. Just say a name.
The champion?
Yeah.
Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble is one of them. All right, now say a jungler.
There's probably a Vi in this game.
No, close.
Actually, Xin Zhao probably. Yeah.
Wukong.
Sure.
We forget him again, right? But then like mid lane, right? Who's the most popular mid lane champion all year?
I think we're describing the same outcome. I just have I find the causation. My theory is I think the causation's backwards. I think it's not that it's a locked in meta, and therefore everybody is just playing the same stuff because it's a locked-in meta. I think nobody is innovating on the game 1 nothing fearless away meta, because why would you? You're like the incentives are lesser to do that in a fearless world.
Yeah, just pick what's good and like.
Yeah, it's like your advantage from innovating on that recipe is way, way, way reduced than what it was before. So it's just not worth putting that amount of mental energy.
No,
into.
it's not. I agree with you. All right. We've drove down for meta for quite a long time. But Slayer, go ahead.
Well, here's my one clarifying question, because the funniest part about the most hilarious part about meta right now, and especially jungle, is when does NACL playoffs not ever move to 16? Or like, are they just going to be on 25-15 the entire playoffs?
Oh,
or are they going to ever switch? Because
I mean,
if they switch at any point, the jungle is about to get classic Riot wrecked, right?
Yeah. I
about.
just realized that because we have Brand getting buffed.
We have Brand,
Silas,
Nautilus.
Like,
so listen,
and they're nerfing Xin Zhao again.
I for one am excited for the NACL. That's gonna be fun.
I am kind of excited for Nautilus. I might actually try it. I will say, I am not sure how long that's going to reign supreme, because I think that people that have tried like PBE with these champions, like particularly like Shapeshift was saying like, oh, you can 306 double smite clear on Silas. Oh, you can like 312 one smite clear on Nautilus. Like all of these things lead to me to believing that we're going to probably have like another Darius jungle situation on our hands, where it's going to be just a case of like, okay, this thing is going to absolutely run the meta, but it's going to be very short-lived. And those are kind of the worst types of things to live in, especially in a competitive environment. Something is fucking strong as shit, overtakes the entire game, has to be respected, and then drops off the face of the earth. So I kind of hope that what Slayer is describing isn't going to happen, but I would be lying if I said that I didn't think Nautilus was going to see some action based off of how insane this champion can clear, and the fact that he's a hook, the fact that he's a fucking hook champion that is not only good at ganking, but is also relevant in support, so he can be a flex pick. Like that
as
character,
a point and click ultimate that can lock down anyone. Like
that character
like
has
this
to
is
be
just built to be picked.
It's not even the Nautilus is a whole separate thing for me. Like that's gonna be something, but it's gonna be isolated. The fact is that I'm focusing it if I want to know if NACL is ever gonna swap to this patch. I think they won't. But I don't think they will in time. But because if they do,
they start this week, right?
They start this
week.
And
yeah,
this
so
patch
I don't
comes
think
out
it's
next. Yeah, no.
I don't think it's neither doable, nor I would like to see teams playing in the newer patch mid playoffs. To be honest,
this patch will be live for promotion tournaments, though, which is also absurd.
Promotion. Yeah.
Also absurd. This patch.
I believe playoffs is on 15-16. I have
like the full what? Well, wait, we're not even on it yet. Wait, when do we go on it?
We're gonna go on it like Wednesday, but I do believe one of the TRs is updated to 15-16.
Wait, so is it this Wednesday or next one?
So
if
they
it's
can do the live
Wednesday, if it's this Wednesday, then yeah, playoffs probably is on it. Because I thought it was going to be mid playoffs. If it's mid playoffs, I do not believe it was going to happen. But if it's before that, then yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, well, yeah. So we're about to. All right. Well, those champion statistics are about to look a lot different for playoffs.
They are.
Say it now.
They are. Well, in
you
case
think
there
it
was
affects team play?
See, I'm like, you can look at my reaction. Like I'm excited about that shit. Like it's not going to be cool to see Nautilus like run people over and like Silas level 2 gank like he was in season 8, but like at the very least it's something different. And like to me, especially when it's fearless, like variety really matters when I'm looking at like competitiveness, especially in a development league. Like I want to see people basically be like a man at arms where you give them anything and they could be equally as lethal. So like that makes me happy, even if it isn't like super figured out.
I don't have a problem with the variety. I have the problem with the timing. This is just unfortunate timing for a two-team league.
I mean, if it was best of 3 the whole fucking time, then it wouldn't. But like now we're going from best of 1s to best of 3s and best of 5s. So it's like it's a thing with timing, and it's also a thing with like again format where we haven't really been able to. I don't know. Like
no, I mean I feel like that's like a constant Riot problem though. It's like there's almost never a good time for a patch. Like it's like at post international before the next split is like the only time that it ever really feels appropriate to patch the game. But they patch the game every 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
But why not do something like this? I don't know what week it would line up on, but like this is a patch you should drop first week of September.
Yeah,
Or
but
for like first or second Wednesday of September, because then all the teams are gonna go boot camp.
yeah, but
for like
I
a couple
hate when they
weeks
do
and then
that
play the
too, because
patch.
then the teams qualify on one meta and then play internationals on a different meta.
Yeah, but that one's unavoidable. That one's usually unavoidable.
I don't know, dude. It's all don't get riot brained, man. It's all avoidable. They can just not patch the game for a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. It is what it is.
Well, yeah, they have to patch it. This is this is borderline this is a borderline rework to the jungle meta.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Like
I see what
always.
you're saying.
yeah.
All right.
Happens
let's
every
get
year.
into these,
Are you new?
Let's get into these mid all-star
Quax.
teams. Let's get into these not actually end of season all-star teams. What role should we start on? I feel like we always start on top lane. We should start on a different role.
Then let's do support up.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do support up. I'm down.
I'm on board.
I'm like it.
All right. I guess we'll start with first teams, and we'll talk about if players appear later, and can go from there. I'll go first. My first team support is Zazel.
Breezy.
Zazel.
Yeah, Zazel as well.
As well,
All right.
Breezy's my
All
number
right.
2. I can't get mad at Breezy.
Yeah, I'm
but
sure. Well,
I think-
Zazel's
yeah.
my number 2. So
yeah,
it's like everyone's
Zazel's
gonna-
still
yeah.
best in slot, dude. He's I mean,
I'm
again,
pushing
I
it
think you're
propaganda.
splitting
Here
hairs
too.
in single round robin format, and I'm gonna say this for a lot of things, but Zazel has had another 6 split. The dude's Nico again. Like, this guy gets to spam Nico every game that it isn't banned against him, but that is, that's a legitimate strategy in this format, and I think he gets that kind of prio more so than most other supports because of how dangerous that Nico is. Really, really fond of what he's been able to put together this split, and in a split where I think tactical was not as standout as he was last split. I think Zazel still looks ridiculous.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like obviously there's been like a decent amount of questions circulating around Luminosity. Because, going into this season, we were kind of like, okay, this has to be the team that challenges Disguised and gives a new name onto the board for LTA. And so we weren't looking at them to, necessarily be dominant, but we were just also looking at them, not just that, but looking at them to also like be so dominant that no one else could really like stand up to them. And I will say, like, I was close to probably putting Breezy at number 1. So, and I felt like Zazel was probably the best player from Luminosity in the last split. Like, he was the most definitive first pro for me, and was the cause of a lot of playmaking. So it's tough for me. It's tough for me to be like, yeah, Zazel is probably still the best on his team, but the gap between him and number 2 is significantly shrinking. And so just imagine what that means for every other role relative to competition, right? And if that is the case, then Luminosity, I think, are maybe in a little bit of trouble when it comes to finally going up against DSG, especially because DSG actually look like a team this split. Not like a great one, but if you've watched any LTA, they look better with fucking Dark Wings than they did with former LCS champion and Worlds attendee Abadage. So we're getting a little off topic, but yeah, I agree. I think it's probably for me, it's definitely Zazel 1, Breezy 2.
I'm on the same part with Zazel 1, Breezy 2. I do think that there's still a little bit of a margin for Breezy and Zazel for me, because like I think Zazel is too good to be tier 2. To be honest, like I did not think he's tier 2. He should be tier 1, but that's a different matter. And Breezy, I feel like he's really, really close to getting to that level where I can say like he shouldn't be tier 2, he should be tier 1. But like he's performing better and better. I think his pairing with Scary Jerry was great. And all in all, like he's finding the right. I think getting onto this sort of team, allowing him to play more to his capabilities, and also not being scared of trying to do it because the rest of the team can kind of back him up, is a really good thing for him and developing and his development in that sense. So I think overall the right environment did flourish him in a good way, and I'm excited to keep on seeing Supernova being following up to whatever Breezy wants.
Let's hear the Breezy
guys.
gospel.
This is very easy. Who won Supernova Luminosity?
Oh damn. He's
I mean, okay,
True.
jokes aside, though, I do actually think part of the reason why I put him over it, and I'm using this bit, is because I do think that in that one game, Breezy played much better than Zeyzal did, and I also think that Rel game was one of Breezy's best games of the entire split.
I agree with that.
So again, I'm now that we're through it, I'm going to lean into the best of one parody when it fits my narrative, of course, only.
Of course.
Which in this scenario it does. And I think that Breezy was the best support in the league. Yeah, am I gonna sit here and pretend like I think if I was a tier 1 Oregon, I could buy Zeyzal or Breezy for the same amount of money right now, I'd buy Breezy? No. But I want to give Breezy his flowers, because while many people will say that it's oh wow, Breezy played best next to a near tier 180 carry. It's like, yeah, but we've seen so many different players. Like, I think the flip side of that is a lot of players do not answer the call when they get brought up to great teams like this. So, we've seen a lot of people, like, I immediately comes to mind, like Bradley on FlyQuest Challengers, when we thought he was just going to run the league from mid lane that one split. Like, there is a lot of pressure playing on a team like this and scaling up and slowly playing with more and more competent bottom lanes, more important and competent teams with bigger leaders and bigger voices in there like Dardox. So for all that to culminate with Breezy playing super well and super comfortable, yeah, this guy, I think if he, barring Supernova winning promotion, which I think that's a conversation for later, I think in the year 2026, if the progression stays solid here for Spring, with how support really feels like it is in North America, I think we do have to start having conversations about Breezy being a tier 1 support that needs to get a shot.
Yeah.
I do think
Because he always was, great on shit teams too. Like, this is the thing, right? It's like, we need to remember Breezy was it's been like a year plus of Breezy statistically being better than the mean. And now he's playing on a great team and still being statistically relevant. So, like, that also factors into to Breezy as a career arc.
I mean, I don't want to take us too off topic here, but just because we keep bringing up, like, contenders for promotion with LG and Supernova, like, I actually, coming into playoffs here, I actually feel like there's 5 teams that I could see making the promo tournament. Because you don't have to win to make the promo tournament. It's top 2 that makes the promo tournament.
Yeah, you just need top 2.
Yeah. So, like, I think LG, Supernova, Dark Zero, Citadel, and Conviction could all realistically make top 2. Like, these guys have all taken games off of each other in a pretty wide mishmash.
Yeah, I think I would have a.
There's favorites for sure, but I think there's 5 that have like a real shot.
That's fine. Yeah, I would agree.
It's kind of a tight race. It's kind of good. Kind of a good competitive playoffs we got here. It's just undermined.
Thank God it's not best of ones
by this regular season format. All right, let's hear our number 3s. Because I think, at least for me, the story is everyone. Who's not here.
Everyone's flip flopped, right? We're like,
we're
all Zeyzal Breezy in one or another, 1 and 2.
Okay.
My number 3 is Diamond.
Same.
My number
I have
3
a different
is
one.
My number 3 is also Diamond.
TDS?
I have a different one. I went for only 35.
All right.
It's a respectable choice, actually. I think
those
only 35 keeps improving.
Yeah, and I don't want to steal either of their thunder, but probably worth bringing up. Nobody has Zyko.
Yeah,
Zyko's 4th for me.
I would say 4th for me as well.
Zyko's an honorable mention. Yeah,
because I think Psycho was a good part of a team that wasn't dependent on him, whereas I think only 35 needed and mobility. I would say bot lane from Winthrop needs to step up in games they need him to win. Like, if they don't step up for Winthrop, then they don't win a game. That's the thing for me with Winthrop. So that's why I bring up only 35 a little bit more. And I kind of am giving away a little bit of myself, but probably putting mobility higher up. Maybe top 3, maybe not. But like, those two needs to always be on point if Winthrop wants to win games. And that's why I think only 35 for me is really impressive. Last split he was really good. This split he's really good as well. And I just think that if he gets to a team that is not recycling the same roster every split and expecting different outcomes, they probably are looking at a much stronger finish with only 35. So hopefully he can get onto that eventually. But for now, I think top 3 is a really good spot for him.
I don't hate the shout. Yeah. I do think only 35 does still very much suffer from trying to. It's the same way I think about Vampire in the LPL, where it's like when his teamer is in a good spot for him to play his style, it looks really cool, and you're like, wow, this guy's smurfing the game. But like if they're behind or disjointed, only 35 kind of ints. He kind of just ints. It's still a little bit of an issue, but yeah, like you're saying, his highs are still like super. Like there's a lot of promise there. And then for Zyko, I think Zyko was not the more impressive bottom laner of the duo. So that immediately put him out of top 3 contention for me. So
yeah, I'm on board with Zyko. I think he had some rough laning phases. I just wanted to call attention to it because he's been such a staple of these support all pro teams for.
I'm pretty sure he was number 1 for like two splits or 3 splits in a row.
He's at least on the list. He's at least been on the list since summer 23, probably summer 24. When did Maryville get good?
23, 24, summer 24.
Yeah.
Actually, I would even say no, spring 24.
Spring
like
24
summer 23 was still the odd orange get back
summer
roster.
23 was when they had odd orange and get back. Spring 24 is when they got good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was 3 splits in a row. But yeah, I mean I think Diamond is just solid. Diamond looks like Diamond. I mean we've seen Diamond at the end. Diamond has also been like a mainstay on this list even before Zyko was a mainstay on this list. Missed him last split, of course, but he comes back and he looks like Diamond. I think he's not the rank, but the player. So he still looks plenty good and is I mean performing up there with the best of it. It's hard to say. He has like a really standout Nico game as well. I think it's like these Nico players, man, Zazel and Diamond, especially just make it, and Carria. On that note, just really running the whole game. That's like the biggest playmaker I think at the position
pretty
right now.
consistent list. And Zazel, Diamond, Carria, pretty good players on Nico, of course.
Players whose Nico keeps showing up on my computer screen. I don't know. It's that's just how it's been this split, and yeah, very few criticisms about Diamond's individual play. I think Citadel have come out and been like more competitive in the NACL than I think I expected them to be. I think I expected them to be not in that 5 contending. I thought they would be like on a tier 2 kind of firmly, but I think they are like up there contending. Like not as favorited as your Dark Zeros, your Supernovas, your Luminosities, but I think very much capable of taking games off those teams.
I agree.
All right. Want to move up to bot lane?
I do.
Sure.
All right.
I do.
I think it's real.
Surely we have a consensus number 1 here, but let's.
I think we all have number
whoever wants to start. Who wants to claim him?
I'll go first. I think Zayed is number 1.
Yeah, Sejed should clear here. Holy moly!
Sejed clears for me for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean
this was by far his best split. It was it was awesome.
Sejed has 8 deaths this split.
Yeah, and
8 deaths in 9 games is some wild ass shit.
Yeah, and that's also like still playing like Sejed does, like an absolute crackhead in team fights. He's I don't remember who the opponent was. I think it was week 1. His first Lucian game of the split. I watched like one of these like team fights, and I just went, fuck, this guy's on it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay, yep. Scary Jerry, move over, bro. It's like the Colin Coward meme. I know Gordo will know this. LeBron, it's okay, man. Ben Simmons is here. That's me to Scary Jerry, unfortunately. Worst sports take of all time. Anyways, yeah. Sejed, I mean, it's just a much more controlled, calm laning phase. I think he was the better laner compared to Zyko, and then he's just still doing.
I think Zyko's like inting him in lane in several of these games, and he's still showing up and being the best.
Yeah, I think for a bot lane that started with Zyko being the head and then Sejed being the hands. I think now Sejed is the head and the hands, and Zyko is there. Kind of
Zyko's a couple of Alistair games this split where he's just kind of running it in the laning phase. He usually pulls it back and is still performing well later on. It's not like it hoses the game for DZ, but yeah, I mean for Sejed to be as good,
it's probably the rough part
been.
That they need to be looking out for coming into players. Yeah. But at the very least, it's not AD, and One of the things that I'm glad that from Sadyet is that I remember when he first got into this team, I'm pretty sure he was on the first iteration when it was or not this iteration, sorry, but Sadyet was in the iteration, one of the iterations previously from Fly C, if I'm not wrong. I'm kind of trying to remember it. When he was Isles, it was, sorry, Chime, when he played with Chime at the time. Yes. And I think that was one of the better splits that I remember for Siet, but he was still committing some rookie mistakes, obviously being one of the first splits having to play in such a hype roster. They ended up winning, but I feel like he was still lacking things. Now, after some time playing with both, having played with Chime, with Psycho now, I think that his improvement has been really, really high, or really, really big in question to what he showed at first. I really just I'm expecting to see how long will it take until someone falls down from LTA and he goes up there. Because like I feel like he has just the makings to be an LTA 80 carry at the moment.
I agree. I actually kind of think Sajed's like if I had to pick one player who's
I think I need to see one more split of him playing like this, and then I'll be on board, because at the current moment, like
players, man.
Well, the thing is that I feel like it's fine.
Listen,
I would be fine if Sajed goes now if he gets to the qualifying tournament and he beats DSG. Because I feel like that's a good enough testament to showing that he can play in the LTA if he can get the better of Rahel, for example.
Yeah, obviously. But I don't know. Like, at the current moment, I think the one thing that we have going for us in the LTA North is that we have some pretty damn good, like, top tier 80 carries. Like, I think that Jan and Masu
aren't gonna get touched. Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah. I think like
but
strength
it's also
of role
like
notwithstanding, though. Like I think my most valuable prospect in a vacuum is probably Sajed this split.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you, but I just want to make sure that I don't know. Like, I think that Sajed could join the LTA tomorrow and be like a top half mid?
Well, difficult for him to be a mid.
Or top half top half 80 carry. A top half 80 carry. I don't know, but I would like to see more, and then I can change that I don't know to a yes. But then again, I also feel like I don't want to overbake the player. Like, I feel like there have been a lot of instances where players stay in the development system for too long and then like have like a lot of expectations and then they kind of get let down. Like, there's
that's why I always say we need to throw players into the open. Like, we need to just trial by fire them. But this also comes with better management. So like, I want to, but I understand why it doesn't happen, because like you need to hold on to these players when they shit the bed, because that's what's going to happen to most of them. Like, they are not going to start being the strongest players out there. But like, that's what you need to do if you want to actually get them to eventually be what you want them to be. So like, I hope they go for Zayed in that way. I hope he gets to one of the teams that has the better probability of losing an 80 carry, or to like giving up their 80 carry spot to someone else, because like there's players that are going to leave more than likely sooner rather than later, because like they are Koreans and they have to do military service. So there's a better shot at that. I'm looking at you, Shopify. But like, there's good chances that could end up happening just because of age things.
Well, that's a fun conversation that I'll open up now, but we'll revisit at a later time. Is that I think, yes, from the top standpoint of the LTA, this is, first of all, I think North America right now might be the best producer of marksman in the West, because of Jan and Masu. But here's the thing. The rest of the league, like, you've got either old heads that I think are going to retire soon, we need to kick out to give younger people spots. That would be like, and I'm not saying they're playing bad right now in the LTA either. I won't say
like
that.
Sven,
but
Sven is 2 years max. Yeah,
Sven and FBI like are on a clock.
FBI is done after this year. If FBI isn't done after this year, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah. So on a shorter clock. And then you've got like TDS is talking about with like Bvoy. Like, come on, we need to stop using Bvoy to gatekeep some of these marksman players, first of all, and then
he's gonna be gone sooner rather than later, because once again, Korean military service. So like, it has to happen better sooner rather than later, I would say.
Yeah. So I am confident in saying that Sajed should be given a shot at LTA in 2026. And here's the thing. I'm very biased towards Jet. I've been there for a while, but I really just believe that an AD carry that has like things to clean up for tier 1 level in like lane phase, early stages of the game, that is easy to mentor going into LTA. Obviously pairing on the right support pairing, but like a guy that can like raw team fight like a crazy crack addict, like the guy's just like smurfing team fights, like those ADs, I think in my mind translate much better to tier 1 from developmental leagues. Like I would say that is a very recent example I'd use is Smash. Like I think that's Smash to a T in the LCK. And the example that I'll start saying now, the same way I thought about Danny. So, all right, I'll leave it at that. So I will say it now. I think Sajed should get looks in the LTA for 2026, especially on one of those 3 rosters that we named. Most importantly, I would say 100 Thieves, but like whatever thing occupies that space, and then
because
cool linchpin for what I
yeah.
assume will be Sentinels.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a cool.
Now I have heard there might be some difficulties around that, but I don't want to open up that can of worms just yet.
All right.
When did it become LCS Quax?
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I'm looking to be LTA Quaxley, bro. Like I can fit into the Pokemon club just fine.
Well, you already have your picture being a Pokemon, so maybe that actually fits you.
Yeah. All right, let's get into number 2. Number 2 for bot lane. I have an interesting pick.
I derailed us.
Yeah, go for it. TDS, you were leading off for this one.
Yeah, I already went with Jet number 1. I think number 2 is actually interesting. I'm not sure if you guys are going to agree with me, but I think Viper.
Whoa.
No, I
don't agree. I have Scary Jerry number 2.
I also have Viper. I'm with you, TDS. I have Viper.
What the fuck?
I'm honestly like I come off this because I remember in the tier list we made, I was really skeptical about Viper.
Yeah.
And he just completely blew away any skepticism that I have. Because like he's been playing really well. He's been a really consistent carry. I honestly think that he can maybe go for more like adaptational or adaptive picks like he showed with the Riven. Obviously, it's the last game of the system, probably not a huge indicator.
He's a Riven ODP.
But I will say at the very least,
and he's been drawing the Riven bans all split. That's
yeah,
not just
at the very least he can
game.
pull it off, and that already makes him a much bigger threat compared to any other AD carry, because that means that he can pull off something that nobody else can. And also, I just think that him being able to step up so heavily in his first split after a role swap, in what would be like, I don't remember how long when he last played competitive, but that is I think a big step up.
Briefly marksman for 100 Thieves Academy with his brother, like what feels like a fucking generation ago. It's been
exactly how long ago. That's the thing, and he steps up really well here. Goes against top 80 carries, and he fights against them really, really well. I think a number 2 spot for him in his first split like this, it's completely meritable. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think Viper's playing a different game than all the other marksmen in this league. Like Sajed is playing the normal marksman game, and he's playing it like impeccably for this level. Viper is not playing impeccably, but he's playing a different game, and it demands different rules. Like he just plays, Riven notwithstanding, he's playing this Vayne pick so aggressively. He's playing this Ezreal pick so aggressively. The Varus is the same way. Like, he's just starting plays on his own, making flanks on his own. He just plays the role differently, and it is proven, at least so far, in this 9-game sample size. For him, it's 8 games. In this 8-game sample size, he has... it's really thrown a lot of teams off, and they have not been able to deal with it appropriately. Like, he is a huge factor. His play style is a huge factor in why they win a lot of these games. It's a defining trait of this team that is towards the top of the standings. So like I think you have to, I need to give that its nod here, and I'm pretty happy to put Viper as number 2 in mind, because I mean, what are these guys? These guys are they second seed?
No. They are fourth.
They're fourth. Okay, I'm looking at the bracket, dumb. But yeah, I mean, they're 4th seed. They're a good team, and I think a big part of their identity is that Viper plays this way.
Also, with most MVPs.
I can totally get behind that mentality, but I just think in terms of like raw, like, how do I put this? I think in terms of just because I'm not factoring in like importance to the team necessarily over like what I feel like is individual performance. Like if you're talking about a guy who really bridges this team together, then I think Viper would honestly be like number one. But I think in terms of just like actual prowess from what I've seen this split, like I would probably put him fourth, if I'm being honest. But I will say, Viper, in my opinion, was the biggest surprise of the entire split. We said at the beginning of the season that like the bot side of this team is the X factor. If this bot side doesn't come together, this team won't. And they did. So I felt like that is a huge reason why they were able to snag fourth when so many other people were doubting them.
I also want to say, I mean, if they obviously, you know, what happens. There's punishments for not getting your shit together and being able to perform, but they FF'd to Blue Otter. This team would have been 7-2, right?
Yeah, they probably would have been competing.
I think it's like worth considering, right? Like this team, they finished fourth. They probably could have, should have been in that.
I'm pretty sure CCG would have loved for them to compete because that actually impacted so much of this split. Now that I think about it,
it's a little tilting, but what can you do? But yeah, I mean, like I think I don't think it shouldn't be. The standings are what they are for good reason, right? You need to punish teams for not getting their shit together, but like from a pure skill standpoint, Conviction should be 7-2. They should be in a 4-way tie for first.
Yeah, it's actually a good point. All right, who's third for y'all?
It's Scary Jerry for me. Like Viper was 2, but Scary Jerry is 100% third.
I'll adhere to the hype and I need to play towards the rules of best of one. So I will put Viper third team. I will annul my former third team player.
I have tactical.
I have been convinced. Okay.
I actually put I put Instinct.
Ooh.
I still think Instinct is a really good AD carry. I think Instinct Diamond was like the big bright spot for this team. So I feel like putting them third together with each other is appropriate.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say. Like I feel like Instinct, like we were saying that Diamond is Diamond. Instinct is fucking Instinct. Like
I think like
there's not much else to say.
Tactical, Scary Jerry, Instinct are all very close on. Like, if you're grading on the standard 80 carry rubric, I think Tactical, Scary Jerry, Instinct are all very, very close. Like, you could split hairs wherever you want. And then Sajet is a level above. And then, yeah, you have to be willing to, like, bring in a totally different rubric to talk about Viper.
Yeah. Like, I can comfortably say that the reason why I pick Scary Jerry here more so than any other, first of all, is because I dislike Tactical's playstyle. So that kind of eliminates it for him, for me, pretty quickly. And then, like, I just think Scary Jerry, his first few games left a little bit to be desired for me. I think he has kind of gotten more and more to the level that I'm expecting from Scary Jerry. But the first few games, I just didn't like how Scary Jerry played. It felt like a little bit scared. Funnily enough, it felt like Scary Jerry was scared about trying to play the game a little bit. But now it's been feeling much better. I think he's been coming together much closer to the expectation, and I just think it's just the mental impact probably of coming down from LTA to NACL once again in a completely different environment to what he was accustomed to. Because we need to remember he was in Maryville for what, 4 years, 3 years, or 4 splits. Well, yeah. I don't remember really the amount of time, but like he was there for a long time.
Yeah,
so it's getting accustomed to a new environment, down from LTA. So yeah, I think that probably impacted his playstyle to a certain degree, and that's why I put him here.
That's fair. All right. In the interest of time, let's get on to mid, unless anybody has any burning bot lane thoughts.
Nope.
I think so.
Slayer, Quax, when are you starting us off with mid?
Sure, I can do mid. All right. So my first pro all mid. All right. Yeah, I got it right here. So I put number one. I put ABO. And then
it's not mine.
Simply put, I think a Blaze Olive. I think a Blaze Olive is just a solid fucking player. Like I think a lot of people are are probably going to be looking at Dardoch as like the guy that kind of drives this team forward around the mid game, and I totally agree. But I think the mid jungle combination of Supernova is really lethal, and so I feel like it's unfair not to mention ABO. Yeah, I have him number 1. Like I felt like he performed really, really well. It's like that. It's almost like he never fucking left.
Yeah. I agree with most of those points, but I put him at number 2. I have Insanity number 1.
Too. Yeah, that's my 1 too as well.
Hey, I have the same.
I have Insanity too. I have Insanity too.
Insanity 1, AVO number 2 as well for me. I just think
Alright.
that if, like, I already made this point with LG, they were going to lose a random game or 2 random games. They were not going to be number 1 for some completely random reason, and that still was not going to impact the way that I look at them. And particularly, I still think Insanity is the best part, if not, like, to me, the best part apart from Cecil from this LG roster, and he still makes me believe that that's the case consistently. So, like, I have not a lot to take away from his performance. I still think that he probably is the best mid laner in the league going into playoffs. He's probably going to be the best mid laner going into the relegation tournament. And it's going to be difficult to make that shake away unless they get completely screwed over here in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead, Slayer.
I was just going to say, Insanity also only has 1 loss of the 2 Luminosities, so remember that. And the 1 loss, the guy built Overlord's Bloodmail on Corki. You could not convince me for the life of me that he was actually trying that game, so it doesn't count. There's only facts here, no agenda whatsoever. No, I'm kidding around it. But yeah, he built Overlord's Bloodmail on a Corki game. He deserved to lose. So outside of that, he didn't drop a single game in Split 2.
Yeah, he's a really, really good player. I mean, we talked about him coming into the season as like this guy should hard be the best mid in NACL, and he's the barometer for anybody outperforming him is like LCS ready. Yeah. I think Spyrex passed that barometer last split, but like in finals, it really feels like Insanity hit like another level when they beat Dark Zero, and he has like not let go of that since spring playoffs. He's like, I think he's woken up. I think he's realized like, oh, we're the best team in NACL. We have like a real shot at LTA here. Obviously, that's what the team was constructed for. But I think, you know, as spring ended and summer began, that became more real, and he's ready to go. At least that's my narrative. Interesting statistical thing with Insanity is Insanity is number 1 in gold diff at 15 of all mid laners at a little over 600, but has 0 solo kills.
He's just buried in lane.
Yeah, he's out. He's not killing people, but he's just out laning, out producing, getting plates. He gets a lot of ganks. You know, he makes ganks happen with Tomio, or more frequently, actually collapses with Tomio on the jungler. But he doesn't actually solo kill his lane opponent at all. Also, interesting thought exercise here. If I could pitch you guys on a Nega Insanity, a player who gets a bunch of solo kills but does not translate them into gold leads at all, would you say that player is good at laning or bad at laning?
I think it's good at laning. I just think that it's a different strength.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that player exists. That player's name is Bradley.
I was going to say
Bradley has 7 solo kills and averages 0 gold at 15. This player's real. Bradley's the Nega Insanity.
It's one of those things where it's like again, I'm going to use jungle analogy here because, you know,
gonna use jungle analogy.
But it's like if you get a kill and then you don't turn it into an objective, right? Like, are you a good jungler?
If you hit yourself really hard and it hurts, are you strong or weak?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that's like the question. Like, are you? I would say
I would like to see more so than that stat of what he transformed to gold. How much of the gold that Bradley loses is transforming to a jungle gold?
Yeah,
like that's the kind of question that I'm making. Because like if he solo kills and then anything of what he would have gotten is instead translated into the jungle advantage, I think that's still that's even more valuable.
Yeah,
but
you're going beyond the capabilities of Games of Legends here.
That's the thing that I would like to know, because I feel like that is a big difference maker to me.
Yeah. All right, so we're all ABO and Insanity, number 1 and number 2. Number 3s maybe get a little more interesting. Who have you got at number 3, Quax?
I decided to just it's gonna sound like fucking
chalk,
boring, but Toasty.
Yeah. I have top prospect in NA evolved.
I was actually considering Evolved. I can't even lie, which is insane to say.
He's good, dude. He had a good split.
He's not a bad mid laner. I still
I-
think it's
I see
Toasty, but,
shame
like,
in Slayer's face. Who do you have, Slayer?
I want to say someone. I wrote 2 names, and I want to say the crazier one, but I
Say the
don't think I
crazier
can do
one.
it. No, I'll put Toasty. I'll put
Alright.
Toasty.
Okay,
It's probably
well,
like
can I take a
fine
can I
game.
take
Can we
a
hear
guess
your
on who
honorable
you're gonna
mention?
fucking
Can we
say?
hear the crazier
Yeah.
one is?
You're gonna say, like,
you want to
fucking-
guess?
By
were
me.
you gonna say Shochi?
I was gonna say.
I
Shochi.
kind of like
you know,
Shochi. Shochi had a
I
good
respect
I
that.
like
I think a
Shochi
good
too.
run now-
I like
a good,
Shochi
A
too.
good comeback into the NACL for Shochi, I agree. I think Toasty's
Yeah,
third, but like a good comeback for him.
Shochi.
I would have Toasty
Shochi
fifth.
locked
I
in.
think I would have Bradley fourth. I think I would have Toasty fifth.
Yeah.
No, Bradley.
I think Toasty was
this
just
guy
kind of
fakes me
there,
out,
dude.
bro.
He was there for the ride. That's my
Yeah, but
thinking.
at least Toasty's impactful post 15 minutes.
Sure. Listen, I didn't put Bradley on my list either. All right? I can't be held accountable.
I think I'm turning into a Bradley hater, and this isn't. I
think you
don't know
already
how this has
were.
happened.
It's
I hate.
it's
I'm not a
infecting
hater,
this podcast, dude. We used to
Yeah, it
all love
is.
Bradley, and I think I'm the only one left.
dude. That
supporting
that
this
fly
guy.
challengers
I love
split
players
just
that
doesn't matter to
win.
me.
So that's completely relevant to the point. But like Toasty, for the problem with Toasty is that I feel like he's suffering from something that happens a lot in real life sports, and it's when you get a price tag, you have to live to that price tag, and he's not living to that price tag. That's the problem with Toasty. He's right now he's walking with, I think it was 30,000 buyout is a buyout that
It
he
was
has.
expensive.
Like 30K. Yeah, so like the problem is that he's suffering from that. In every sport, whenever a player has a price tag that exceeds anyone's expectations, if he doesn't live up to that, he's going to suffer. A good example from football, for example, from soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, but it's football in reality. It's when people are looking at someone like Mbappe and he's 180 million, but he's not doing more than 20 goals. That's a problem. That's not living to your price tag, and that affects people's expectations. And I think that's exactly what happened to Toasty this split. I don't think he was necessarily bad, but it's not 30K player worth, and that's the problem.
That's a good, fair insight. Yeah, we haven't had to have price tag conversations with players. That's like such a sports thing, right? It's sports.
Yeah, that it never
live up
happened
to
before.
sports contract doesn't rarely happen. In
It's
ACL.
the show's not old enough for that.
Well,
If the
it
show
happened
was a
once.
couple,
I think it's happened
if
twice.
the show was about 5 years older, that would be all we talked about. About Academy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's happened twice, right? Like we've had Sword Art and Perks. Those are the two instances where you can
I
say
was
if
just
they
talking
live
about, like,
up to the price tag.
Like that's the old era of Academy. It was like there were tons of players that were just like Academy jailed by massive
true.
buyouts.
But none of them were public, as far as we know, right?
No, they weren't like public controversies.
That's
but
the
it's-
thing. Like this
yeah.
is probably the first instance of a public buyout in Academy in tier 2 Academy level where you know the price and you can base your evaluation off of that price. And obviously for people that are analysts, coaches, things like that, you cannot base the level of a player from that. But for most normal people, they would 100% do that. And that's why I think that the impact from Toasty is severely damaged by that price tag. Similarly to what happened with Perks at one point when he even though he won NA, he still was judged by that price tag.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not on the top prospect in an A train, but I do think Evolved played very well this split. I think he had a lot of good laning phases. I think he had a lot of good picks. I think his stats are slightly deflated because he didn't get to run Samakin for a game. But other than that, I think he's done pretty well. No hate to Samakin, man, but he had some stinker lane phases this split. I think Evolved would have probably gotten some stat padding in there. Really, really strong split from him. And yeah, I feel like an underwhelming split from Toasty. Maybe I am getting wrapped up in the hype a little bit. Because, I mean, I've been hyped on Toasty since before everybody else was hyped on Toasty. But
That's true.
yeah, I was hyped on Cincinnati Fear Toasty. And he just hasn't had quite the bounce up I would like. I don't think he's bad, but he hasn't had that, like, I'm waiting for, like, one more level up before I'm like, this is my guy. He's next up. He's still my guy, but he's not next up yet. Despite what Disguised may wish they had the money to pay. All right. Any other takes on mid, or should we move up to jungle?
Move on up.
All right, for Jungle, Slayer, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, this should be unanimous. Also, it's Dardoch. It should be Dardoch first.
Yeah,
I
I do actually have Dardoch as well. Like, listen, we talked about Dardoch last split, not only in his ability to actually play jungle well, like from a fundamental level, right, compared to his peers, but also in his leadership when he was in CCG. I feel like that has been like, I feel like that aspect has been pushed forward tenfold this split. Like, I think his leadership is definitely apparent on this Supernova squad. And I think when he has, I'm not trying to shit on anyone from that CCG roster, but for lack of a better term, more talented teammates around him, more chiseled out players that are, I would just say, better overall. Like when he has more to work with, like you see the result, right? So I think Dardoch is he's almost like a fucking puppeteer at this point. It just matters the quality of the goddamn what's the word?
Puppet?
Puppet, yeah.
Marionette?
Sure. I guess we can. Yeah, marionette. There we go.
Puppet.
Yeah.
One of those things that puppeteers use. I can't think.
There was another word I was looking for. But yeah, I again, I think Dardoch is just continues to just be this like insanely solid player that keeps helping out the next generation. So huge kudos to him. Bro is like the Red Skull of NACL. He's guiding others to a treasure he can't possess.
Oh, yeah. He might possess it,
right,
dude. I think Supernova can figure it out, man. Remind me after we record. It's way too long of a story to tell on the podcast. I'm going to drag us out for forever, but remind me after the podcast. I have a funny story about that quote. But I actually have Dardoch number 2. I have Kisno number 1. But I do want to take a little victory lap on. I recall being met with some skepticism on the preseason show when I said Dardoch was like a lock for top 3 junglers. I recall this. I'm gonna find the clip if I have to.
I'm just trying to think of who like I would have put ahead.
Probably some combination of Tomio, Kisno. Depends on how high you are on Perry. Maybe
I probably wasn't. I might get exposed. I probably wasn't one of those people. I think I would have Dardoch 3.
You probably agree with me, and I only say that because you agree with me on every preseason show we do. We always have the same opinions coming in.
I think it may have been me, actually. I think I probably had Kisno, Perry, and Tomio. Not in that order, obviously.
Yeah. I have Kisno number 1. No disagreement on anything about Dardoch. I think this probably is the other side of the coin of me being less impressed with Toasty this split, is that makes me more impressed with Kisno. I just attribute a lot more of the success of the mid jungle of Dark Zero to Kisno and a lot less to Toasty. That's just my read. I don't know that that's objectively correct, but I think that explains both of those discrepancies from y'all's opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I have Kisno too. I think
same.
I think Kisno.
Yeah.
I could say a lot of what I said. Whatever I said about Kisno the preseason thing just came to fruition. To be honest with you, he also jokingly is a Trundle merchant.
A little bit. He did play over 5 games of Trundle out of 9.
He gets exposed in playoffs after.
But I do think it's like I think what's cool about this split for Kisno though is I think not that we had any real doubts, but I think now it's like, yeah, Kisno is like a real like good NACL jungler, like undoubtedly. Like before it was like, well, he was good on the Conviction roster, and then he was poor on the what was that? The Lit roster. That he debuted on, so it was like, and then he didn't qualify with Dragoon's Goons, so before he started on Conviction, it was kind of like, can Kisno really be like a top NACL jungler? And then he had the one good split on Conviction. Now he's got a second good split, so I think he's like firmly in that camp of, Kisno is a real he's gonna be evergreen if he's in the league. If he's not in LTA next split, he's gonna be in NACL, and he's gonna be. He's going to be a top 3 jungler in my mind.
Yeah. The thing that separated Kisno and Dardoch for me is partly the leadership thing, but I've already yapped about that a billion times and Quax covered it. I think Dardoch had the cleanest mid-game transition decision-making of any jungler.
I agree with that tenfold. Yes, absolutely.
That is a really good
I think
point.
the
That's
way
like,
he, yeah,
it's
like
LTA.
the way he
It's LTA level.
yeah, the way he understood like what like not like it's one thing to understand what lanes to play for early. Like you that's an easy read to make. That's easier read to make. But like the way he would pivot his game plan and then on top of that Supernova's game plan, depending on how early games shook out, it was fantastic. So I think this is the best this is the best I've seen Dardoch look from a decision making standpoint in his entire career. I'll say that. There you go.
I don't think that's a super
In-game.
hot take, if I'm being honest with you, but like it's still nice to hear for sure.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's an adaptation from his style of play because I feel like it's not that for me at the very least, it's not that it's the best. It's that it changed pretty heavily to what it was before. Because I feel like before, more than the mid game transition that I think Dardoch was good at, I feel like it was more his early game presence of mind that made it so that the mid game transition was kind of like just an afterthought, and it just kind of came after what he did early on. But like because of the change, I think in playstyle and presence of mind of himself, I think it just made it so that his mid game transition became more important, and that way controlling the later stages become more important as well to what was early on. I feel it's just like a natural change in mindset that impacted also the natural way that he was playing initially. And it's a nice change to see. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad with seeing this sort of changes because I feel like it also showcases a good change in mindset that he has from looking at the game, and it's also apparent in the way that he's trying to present himself in the team environment. And I feel like it's also a good way that a good segue into remembering the time that he came on the Southland. Like I feel like it also like showcased such a good presence of mind at the time that it's apparent in the way that he's playing as well right now.
Yeah, I agree. Showing up on our podcast is a really great
Yeah, it buffed
signifier of
him. It will
how
buff any of
solid
you
your presence of
players,
mind
yes.
is.
If you come on this podcast, you will have the best split of your career after coming on the podcast.
It's already happened twice, I think. I don't remember the other player, but I can say Dardoch.
We had a Lorum on and they got relegated, so let's not go for that. But
that's why I said I don't remember the other player.
I think Lorum was the last time we had a player on before Dardoch, and they got insta relegated. So you take the good with the bad.
We also had Buck before Dardoch. So
Buck
I think
Conviction did really well.
And Conviction had a great split. So I feel like we can. It just happened this
now
year.
Where is he? Now
on Supernova.
Yeah, see,
with Dardoch.
Maybe we actually.
So there we go.
Actually, what we did is
maybe all
together.
roads lead to Supernova. Like if you're on our
Supernova
podcast, maybe it's not
pipeline.
that you're just best. Yeah, you just immediately go to Supernova. So yeah.
Sneezes is still coaching Blue Otter, so let's not talk about that one. Third. I think once again, probably some room for diversity here. Who do you have, Quax? Actually, Slayer. Slayer, you were in charge of this one. My bad.
Yeah. Let's say.
I'm gonna put Perry.
Ooh.
I'm gonna put Perry. I put Perry as well. Yeah.
I put Kenvi. I think this is the comeback split, man. I think he had a great split.
That's a valid. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually.
I feel like
compared to what he's last year, especially
the first part of the split, I would have put Music in because I think Music was probably the better part of CCG. But the second part made me completely take that away, and then I'm now Perry.
All right, wow, 3 for Perry. There's a lot of consensus there. I have Perry, I think, kind of lower. I think I have probably Tomio higher than Perry too, even though he's definitely a Maokai merchant.
Tomio's my honorable.
I feel like Tomio proved everything I've ever said about him here, which is like this split. I like Tomio better than I've liked Tomio for like the last 2 years, and it's because he gets to just spam freaking Maokai every game, which is what I've always complained that he does.
I'm still with Tomio in the same way that I always was. Like he's great, but I just like to me he's going to be the quintessential second place, not the first place. That's my problem with Tomio, really.
Yeah, I think Wilson deserves a shout out here, and I say this as the biggest Wilson hater. I have said for years that like, dude, this guy is such a freaking coin flip, except it's weighted towards the wrong side. He just loses every freaking game, single-handedly for this Winthrop team. I've said that for a couple of years now. I haven't been impressed with Wilson since he was Trickster until this split. Now I think we started to see it at the end of last season. And now we see it this split like full force. I think he had a great little split to himself. Well done, Wilson.
I just think Conviction lose 3 more games if they don't have Perry at the helm. So that's what kind of swayed me.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Maybe I need to rewatch some Conviction games from the Perry perspective. I feel like the other 4 players have just stood out to me so much more, and like Perry's just been solid. Maybe I need to look back with a more inquisitive eye. I have always been a Perry fan. I just feel like this is not...
Maybe you do. Yeah.
All right, so top lane.
Top lane is crazy, dude. Top lane. This is
in
partially why I
way.
wanted to not start with top lane, because my list is wild. I would never have predicted this list.
I feel like top lane, to be honest.
Me too. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's not that I think like our top lane pool is bad or anything, but like I think compared to
top lane.
I think compared to the rest of the roles, like top lane is a little bit dry.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the
dry.
Meta,
you just mean like, as in it's like our best top laners just went LTA, so it's like there's nobody that you'd promote to LTA.
Yeah, no, like okay, listen.
Because I think it's an exciting list.
I think it's an exciting list, but
I think you can make an argument for almost everyone, but like 3 players
you have
to put here. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But
sure.
I also put it in a way that I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing in the way that I want to put it. Because like it's a good that there's variety, but I also feel like there's variety because nobody impressed me that much. And that's kind of how I look at it in that way.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed a ton. So,
I think Slayer's with me, dude. I got one guy.
I don't know what's. I don't know.
Like I have one standout player, and then I think that everything else can kind of fall into place.
All right. Well,
and it's
hang
number
on,
one,
Gordo Slayer. Tell me what you guys have, because I want to hear. I want to see exactly what you guys are talking about, because I think
Gordo,
TV, again,
it's the breakout, baby. It's Denethor. It's
number one.
Yeah. It's Denethor number one by a mile to me. I think this guy's highest GD of 15 of any top laner, mega high kill participation, mega high gold share. Whole team runs through him. He draws more bans than any other top laner in the league. I don't know what else you can ask for. This guy had a monster
100%.
split.
Yeah, he was disgusting. The split, like this is for me like Breezy on AOE all over again.
A little bit, like he's like not on the best team.
Statistical anomaly, but he's not on the best team, so it doesn't.
But I think there's a big
you.
difference though between Breezy in AOE and Denethor here in Winthrop, where Breezy in AOE, legitimately, you are in a position where you could never, in your wildest dreams, put your team in your back. Like legitimately, unless you're the best support in the history of the game, you cannot do that. In top lane, you can technically do that for more than 2 games, and I don't think Denethor did that for more than 2 games. That's my problem with Denethor.
I think what you just said just made Denethor sell Denethor's point even more.
Yeah, I feel like
no.
you're not helping yourself.
I do think they lose way more games.
No, because here's the thing. No, here's the thing. For Breezy, it's impossible for him to carry the team, and he still had great stats, but obviously he was in a bad team. I think Denethor has great stats, but he's in a position where he can carry the team, and he did not do that more consistently than not. That's my problem with Denethor.
I think it's hard to like
if he gets all the resources, but
here's
the thing: if he gets if he gets the resources, if he gets the gold, if he's ahead, if he has everything in his power to do it, and he does not do it, then he's just not that guy. That's the problem there. Like
I
if
mean,
he has,
they do only win 3. They win 3 games, and I think 2 of those games two of those games they don't win with any other top laner.
I agree. Like that's the thing. I think Denethor is it's clearly I would say he's clearly the most important part for Winthrop, and he's good enough that he can carry 2 games by himself. But that's the problem. It's only 2 games. That's not enough for me to say that he's the clear number 1 top laner. And I don't think there's a big margin of difference in that sense, because I don't think this is anything new for Denethor either. Like, I think this is the same formula that Winthrop had last played as well, in a much tougher environment, because I think that they were better top laners as well.
I just think it's like and again, this might be best of one. Like, I think as a percentage of games, he just performs at that. He hits that peak way more frequently this split at a higher percentage of games this split than previous splits by like a significant margin.
But it's still not enough for him to really be the standout top laner.
But he pulled a relegation team. Like the way we're talking about this, he pulled a team that would have relegated.
Here's the thing. They don't get relegated By what? That like look at the standings though. Like everyone is 3-6. They don't get relegated because they won their last 3 matches. Realistically, they could have perfectly fine just relegated. Like that's the problem with Winthrop. Like there's no real argument here for me to really look at it.
I mean, I
like,
agree that I'm not going to argue that Winthrop's like a good team, but like I think
I don't think they're a good team, and I think Denethor is top 3. I agree on that. I don't think he's miles ahead of the second top laner though. That's my problem with that.
So I agree with that. I also think that I probably would have been more likely to put Denethor at number 1 because for context, I have Denethor number 2. I probably would have put Denethor
I have Denethor
number
2 as well.
If I would have put Denethor number 1 if he had been able to carry his team over the finish line in any of the games last week. Because the last week of games, Winthrop played Luminosity, Supernova, and Dark Zero. Those are 3 of the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
And I think if Denethor was able to actually like give his team the opportunity to win those and like noticeably was able to like significantly dent those guys, I would have been like, okay, this guy is seriously gatekept. He like on an actual team, he would be like a significant improvement. I would easily put him number 1. I don't really feel like he did that to the level that I was expecting, so I put him number 2. My number 1 is Hoarder.
Yeah, I mean, really quick to finish I think Denethor has insanely great performances in 2 of those 3 games this week. Like,
I was gonna say,
his
like,
Gnar
first
in
of all,
the Fake God
the Gnar
Scion
game,
is very good and solidly ahead. And yes, he doesn't solo carry the game. And then like his
carry on Gnar.
His
That's
Gwen
the
in the Hoarder's Vladimir is also like solo killing him nonstop. Like Winthrop comes very close to winning that game. Largely on the back of Denethor's Gwen. Like I think
the Dark Zero game, you're right, Quax. But yeah,
the Dark Zero game, he gets a little shellacked.
I will follow up. I think you can carry. I think he could have carried on that Gnar game because he got multiple team fights. No, I will say because I will say why on the Gnar. Like I was hate watching that game really heavily because I was extremely pissed off at the I think it was Luminosity, if I'm not wrong. I'm trying to remember who
the
it was.
Winthrop Luminosity game? Yeah, that's the Gnar game.
Yeah, I was hate watching that so heavily because I was watching Luminosity and I was saying like he's getting on top of 3 members consistently and getting them on Gnars, getting Gnarred towards the wall. Like
Gnarred.
He messed up. He messed up I think the last or the 2 of the last team fights, and that's why Luminosity ended up winning. Because if he just Gnars one of those 2 fights, Winthrop wins.
The rest of his team is 8-18, bro.
So
I don't know what can he do?
I still agree. I think he's gate capped. Like
tactical is 1v9.
I think his team is gatekeeping him really heavily. I agree 100% on that because I do think he's number 2. But I will fight with my life that he's not number 1.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure you guys will disagree on my number 1 though. I'm extremely.
So yours isn't Hoarder.
No, it's not Hoarder.
Oh boy! All right, yes, because I know my number 2 is not your number 1.
The classic TDS contrarian.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I have 2 honorable mentions, so surely it's going to be one of them.
Case, it's K.
Okay, that's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah,
number 1 is crazy.
But that's the thing. I don't think there's a big margin of difference between K and Denethor. The thing that sticks K out for me is that first of all, first split in the NACL. Coming in to replace nobody else than the best top laner in the league, Zamudo, and doing so in a really strong margin. I would say like they finished in a roster that got revamped on Dark Zero's side. Only 2 players still there. I think that K was probably looked at as the weakest link in that team. And I'm pretty sure everyone agrees with me. Like everyone thought K was going to be the weakest link into this Dark Zero team. And he comes in and I think he stepped up really, really well into a roster that got revamped, completely changed, coming in for the top prospect in the league, and does a great job at that. And also, I'm pretty sure it's, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's probably his second split actually not second split, but he hasn't played a lot of tier 2 competition so far, and most of it was in Latin America. Mm-hmm. And coming into NACL to perform like he did, I think he did a really great job. I don't think it's miles ahead of Denethor. I still think that the margin is very, very small between I would say top 3. The margin between every member is really small. But like I think he stepped up in a way that I was absolutely not expecting from him. Like I really thought he was going to be one of the weakest top laners.
I think Winthrop might not win a single best of one if you swap Denethor and Key.
I agree with that. Okay.
That's an
I'll
interesting
say-
way
I
to
don't know if
think
I'm
about it.
that
think
much
they
of a
win.
hater.
I think they win one.
I think
so
they
too.
they don't get relegated. I do not think it has the same impact that Denethor has. And that's why I think the margin between the three of them is not that big. But 100% I do think that. So I will make this argument because I think that this needs to be said. I think my top three can be interchanged depending on the week. Because like I don't think the difference between the three of them is that big. Like I feel like if you were counting it by numbers, it's like it's a point something difference. But it's enough for me to say this week particularly, I think Winthrop could really have won the Luminosity game on Gnar. I was hate watching that, and he messed up. And that's why I put him two. I will believe in that.
Dude.
All right.
I think Key would be 5th on my list.
I would probably put
I think
Key
so.
closer to 5th.
I have him
My
4th.
third my third place is
Well, so wait,
is-
your
is
second
Fake
place
God.
is Hoarder. Mine is not. Right? Or you have Hoarder Denethor, right, Quax?
I have Hoarder, Denethor, and then my third place.
Wait a second. Before we get
I'm-
into thirds, Slayer, do we have?
Sure.
Denethor. I'm Denethor Hoarder.
Okay, I actually have Hoarder third, so I have a different.
I
Second.
have Hoarder third as well, by the way.
Okay, I have a different second. I have Ariana second, man.
Oh my!
Wow.
This is best
That's
of one
weird.
bullshit.
This
man.
is best
This
of
is
one
some
bullshit,
bullshit.
perhaps.
Why
And
am I the
Ariana
only? Why am I the only
maybe
motherfucker with Philip on a list? Here? Are you
Ariana
serious?
maybe
Whatever, bro.
a
Well,
maybe an
you
Aurora
don't know.
merchant.
Quax may have it in as well.
There is
Okay.
Well,
there
so
is-
I actually, you know what? I had two people tied at third. Fake God was gonna be
I
my
thought it
like
was Fake
meta
God,
pick
yeah.
that was just boring as shit. But you know what? Now that I think about it, I kind of want to have fun. I'm gonna switch it and just say Blade. I actually really
I
like
Blade.
this
Blade's
split.
5th for me.
You know what? I shouldn't. There's no reason to get reeled up here. We played best of one bullshit. Like,
Yeah,
like,
fuck
do
you
whatever
guys.
want.
We're all so firm on
You
how
just do whatever
bad
you
this
I'm
want.
actually
Like,
much more
Ariana-
disappointed about Blade split this time around.
Like I
though.
do think like Ariana, I think Ariana actually has a very similar justification to Ariana playing on a team with the same record as Winthrop. I think you could very easily spin the same narrative that we've been using for Denethor. Like Ariana
Agreed.
is played through constantly, found some solid success. Like maybe it's a chicken or an egg thing, but combined with how poor Sushi's split was, the team needs to play through Ariana, and they do. And the games that they win because Ariana is like having insane Aurora performances where he's getting kills in 1v3s and making huge flanks to like win them and set up team fights. Like again, perhaps an Aurora merchant, but he does a great job. I think he's like
Well,
he's
Kizno is a
most
Trundle
of the reason I
merchant,
think
so-
that Dorado like it's between him and Shochi are like the only reasons Dorado wins any games.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the amount of differences that we have with our top.
I told
laners.
you
That
top lane was going to
definitely
be fun. This is the best one.
Yeah. You're right.
It's at least more enjoyable to try and
I just-
predict than the
I
other
just can't wait
lanes.
for playoffs where all this slander just gets shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Well,
okay,
let's-
but here's the thing, Slayer. Listen to me. We said in playoff, we said at power rankings, CCG 9th.
Yeah, well, I was going to bring that up. How can we trust
CCG
someone
9.
that didn't believe CCG 9?
How can we trust someone that's just factually wrong, bro?
You got,
Yeah,
well, okay. The only person that gets credit for CCG 9th is TDS.
Yeah,
because
actually,
he
Quax, you
stipulated-
walked it
he
back.
Stipulated, well, you walked it back, and then he stipulated it was because of best
Nuh-uh.
of ones. You said CCG would be 9th, no matter what the format. So
It's hilarious
Oh,
that,
I can't.
that the
I
only
can't hate on
reason
Quax
why
for
I
that
was right
reason.
is
I can hate on
exactly
Quax
because
because he
the
walked
ones.
it back in episode 2. So
Like I find
He
it
did
so
immediately
hilarious
walk
that
it
it
back.
really was only BO1s that put CCG in that spot. Like nothing else would have made CCG be 9th bar BO1s.
yeah,
And that one game between Blue Otter and Conviction. That's
Quax-
the only reason CCG is 9th. It's amazing.
Quax came on the show and walked it back. TDS hid away
I
and
don't know
didn't
what the
come on
fuck
the
you're
show.
talking about, man. Shut the
Therefore, he
fuck
gets
up.
the credit.
you did walk it back. You walked it
Shut
back
the
after the
fuck-
Yas. You walked it back after the Yasuo Shogo
You
game.
shut the fuck up.
Everyone was so convinced on CCG after that
Should have been like
Supernova
TDS
win.
and not come on the show, Quax. Then you would be stalwart in your convictions.
Oh, by the way, even if I came, I was going to stick with it.
I know
believe
you would
CCG
have.
was
That's why
nice.
we're giving you the credit, man.
You would have.
Let's talk about Hoarder. We didn't talk about Hoarder really at all. We talked about all the different places we have about our lists, but we didn't actually talk about him.
Hoarder.
I think
just
a
so
great
impressed.
follow-up split. Yeah, a great follow-up
Yeah,
split from a rookie split. Perfectly done for him.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
I feel like
yeah.
he's also having the luck of falling upwards, which is not something that rookies tend to have. Like most of the time, rookies either end up in the same place or maybe fall a little bit lower, depending on how the team's set up or who the players remaining are. I think Harder was able to also fall upwards in a way that he was on a better team than Conviction last split, and I think that enabled him even more, which is a good thing, obviously.
He got a big upgrade, I think, that is hard to come by as a rookie. I will agree with that.
Yep.
Seeing everybody else's opinions makes me feel like I might be getting recency biased here a little bit. I do feel like Hoarder had a kind of poor end of season.
That's fair.
Yeah, he was.
Fair, yeah.
I mean, well, he didn't play one of the last 3 games, and then I think he kind of lost a step towards the back end there. Like he does, like we brought up, he gets Giga Slammed by Denethor in one of those games, and what's the other one? The other one is he gets Giga Slammed by TF Blade. The other game is the most one-sided game of the split.
Because he doesn't get his jacks. He plays against the other jacks.
Yeah, he has to play against his jacks, which you would clearly. All those Jax games have not given him some great anti-Jax tech. He goes 0-8-0 in that game, which is like, I don't know, that's kind of best of one shit. I don't really hold that against Supernova too much, even though it is quite the way to round out your season. Rough last week from Hoarder, which kind of, maybe I'm valuing that too much, but
yeah, exam diff. Sounds like
it sounds like exam diff. Yeah, I mean, he missed that one game, and X Royal came in, and he did not. It feels like he lost a step there, and he did not get it back. But that's only 2 games, so hopefully he gets it back for this week.
I just hope to see that Hoarder continues to try more of these picks that we don't know him for. I think his best game of the split was him playing Galio top. I like the Galio game.
Yeah, that was a sick game.
Was a sick game from him. He was like. He was just flash taunting and like causing complete ruckus.
Really good like range knowledge on that taunt too, like hitting edge taunts. That's like kind of the only Galio mechanic, and it's kind of hard to not everybody does it.
Yeah, so I hope to see him go to the Galio, because I also think the Galio, like, to shout out other regions, like LPL in specific, a lot of top laners do play Galio because it's such a great counter to a lot of.
Is it specifically to Rumble counter, or just in general?
It's a Rumble. You could also, like, I've seen it played into Aurora top. I know it's annoying in lane, but like it still kind of neutralizes Aurora, because Aurora's also just the most over 2 in 1v1. Putting Aurora top is so disgusting. I hate watching it. But yeah, it kind of like nullifies that.
You want to talk over 2 and you're not mentioning Gwen? Crazy work.
In lane.
Wasn't she nerfed?
In lane.
Dude, I don't give a fuck. That shit, Gwen needs to be like erased from existence.
Gwen doesn't lane well. That's the people pick Aurora into Gwen right now. That's the pick. Yeah, that's a whole different comment. Yeah, in lane, Aurora's passive is the most annoying and stupid thing I've ever seen in my life.
I do hate it. I do hate it a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know. They don't know what they did with that champion. That champion is still like they like removed the like linchpin of the kit almost immediately, and then they like took out the only skill expression on the Q, and now it's just like a fucking wrecking ball.
Isn't she a number? Isn't she a number dependent champion now?
She's just a
I
stat
guess
check
like
champion,
she's just a ball of numbers. Like she wasn't before. Like when she was like layering down a wall and you couldn't escape from the wall, and it did like less damage. I think it did less damage, or you could have just made it do less damage and still be a wall. And when you had to recast Q, and if you were too greedy with it, then you wouldn't get to recast it. Then it was like different, and it was like like more skill expressive in that way. But like now with both of those things gone, it's just like a ball of numbers that runs at you and like one shots you. It's very I don't know what. I think they regret this champion already. I think they're already like what oops, and now it's like it'll get a mini rework
probably
in like
for
a couple
lot
of years.
Of champions though.
It'll get a mini rework in a couple of years. And it'll they'll make the ult do something else or something. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, do we want to talk about Blade? Because you put Blade third, Quax. We didn't really talk about Blade.
A lot to say. I just think that relative to who you had last split compared to what you had this split, like the results were similar. And I also just think the top lane pool has drastically gotten weaker since last split. So I think if it weren't for like Zamudo, I would have been like very, very on board putting Blade in top 3. And I think with Zamudo gone, there is actually a case for him to be there because I think he has maintained his skill, regardless of the fact that near airport is not conviction, obviously.
It's so crazy to me that like TF Blade is like arguably one of the more normal players on this team. Like,
what do you mean normal?
Like champion pool wise, like Evolved.
All right, fine.
Like Evolved is playing a bunch of Cassiopeia, and like Viper has his ridiculous champion pool, and Stunt has a pretty weird champion pool too, with like the high Karma Prio and stuff. And like TF Blade is like, it feels like this could be like Philip or Faisal, or like there's no hate on those individual players, and not to strip them of their identity, but like it's like it feels like he's one of those like standard like tier 2 players that just like he plays Gwen and Sion. He's like he's a top laner. He just plays top lane champs that you see in comp game in and game out, which is just like it's just like that's not what you would think. That's not what I guessed TF Blade was gonna be when he joined Near Airport, or when he joined Dante's team. Like this is not the TF Blade I thought I was gonna get, and it's crazy that like now he's not playing with like Spica, Doublelift, Pobelt, or Biofrost. He's not playing with like LCS Legends. He's playing with like other guys that have not really made it beyond tier 2, at least for Evolved and Parry. And he's still like, yeah, no, give me Sion. I'm gonna jam Sion, and I'm gonna play it really well, and I'm gonna enable the team through superior frontline play. Like it's so crazy to me that that's who TF Blade is a comp player.
This is still though kind of like a stream team, right? So like I feel like that's why he felt more comfortable trying to join this team. But I do agree. Like the person that I was expecting the least to stay in tier 2 was Blade, and I'm glad he stayed because I think he can still show up. Like I feel like he has room to grow. Obviously, mechanically he was good, but obviously dipping even more into competitive is a nice thing to see from him, and maybe he can still surprise in a good way. Or if he doesn't want to keep on going professional in any way, bringing Ice still is good because I don't think he has done or said anything weird either. Like it's not like a tier 2 or a stream team where you have strong personality that is trying to say things just for the sake of saying things. Like he's actually committing to the bit of playing and being serious about it, which I think is great.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. All right. Well, those are our teams. Do we want to do a quick most valuable prospect, most improved rookie of the split?
I think we've kind of already touched on it a little bit. I think the MVP for me is still Sajed.
Sajed for me. Sajed. Slayer, TDS. Do you have a different one?
Same here.
Okay, well that's an easy MVP. Rookie of the split for me is probably an easy Ariana.
I actually, yeah. You know what? I will give it over to Ariana because technically it's only been like a week since he started playing, but he hasn't. Kryra hasn't. Well, no, he was on CCG. I'm stupid.
Kryra does not count.
Yeah, I think Kryra was eligible. No, because Evolve played a bunch of Academy.
He already played in TSM Academy.
Yeah. All right, fine.
That's Academy, guys. That's not the NACL.
All right. Then yeah, I.
That's why I'm gonna say Stunt doesn't count either, and yeah, we didn't count fucking Doublelift.
Ariana or Key would probably be the pick.
I would give it to Ariana probably because I expected more from Key, and I thought that Ariana did really well for his first split. I especially think it's because I don't think this Dorado team. I had like an expectation for them, and I think they slightly underperformed, but I still think this is a good first step for them, and I think the one that took the biggest stride was definitely top lane.
Yeah.
And then most improved. Most improved might be interesting. I think my most improved would be Wilson.
Are you doubting it?
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't thought about it too hard, but I think mine would be Wilson. I'm like tempted to say Denethor, but I just know Denethor was on my honorable mentions list last split, so it feels weird to say him twice in a row. Even though I do think he's leveled up both of those splits.
I mean, I would probably give it to like Denethor, yeah, but if I had to give it to someone else, I would either say I actually think that Shochi is not a bad candidate for most.
I think
improved.
Shochi's a good candidate, especially if you count it from like the CCG Shochi to this Shochi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll say Shochi too for that same reason.
I think that's a good call.
I was thinking.
I guess from that logic,
Breezy,
you could also say Kenvi.
Like,
Kenvi would also be a fine shot.
I was thinking Breezy just because he went from
Breezy
like
too, yeah.
5th or 4th to essentially 2nd or 1st support. So I think that's a good shout as well.
Those are all good picks. All right. Well, this is a kind of a quick and dirty all-pro teams. We still took a decent amount of time, but I think we had some good discussions along the way. Excited for playoffs to get started. Excited to be playing some freaking best-of series. Dear God.
Yeah, goddamn.
Because, yeah, I mean, go back to the beginning of the episode if you want to hear us complaining about how samey the drafts all feel. But, yeah, this will be very different. And like we mentioned earlier, I do think... I think it's kind of like a 5-horse race to me. Like, I do think, Supernova and Luminosity and Dark Zero are probably, like, the true top 3. Like, those are the ones that I think you can make strong cases for being the top 3. But I think Conviction and Citadel have taken games off these teams. I think we just watched Conviction.
Is going to die really quickly.
We just watched Conviction have a 25-0 game against Supernova, so I can't.
That shit,
I cannot count them out.
I remember seeing that live for the first time, and they were in the middle of it, right? And looking at the scores and being like, this is either a troll game from Supernova or Conviction.
Conviction is just that good.
Or no, I didn't actually. That actually did not.
That never entered my mind. Actually,
that did not enter my fucking mind. It turns out that Conviction actually did play a really just good game of League of Legends.
Yeah. What's funny is the big narrative that game is, and I think Hawk coined it really well. Is it's like the triple solo laner game, right? Where. Right. Viper's playing the Riven, and it's Stunt is just duo laning with everybody equally. My MVP for that game is actually Perry. I think Perry totally reads Dardoch's first few moves, turns them into his favor. He really turns around that the 2v2 top lane, and the whole game just goes to hell from there. I actually think Perry Maokai is the most important part of Conviction in that game.
Yeah, fair enough.
But anyway, yeah, I think all 5 of those teams are exciting. I think Winthrop is an interesting dark horse again. We saw them win random series last split that nobody thought they were going to win, and I think they could. Do you think
they win against LG though?
No, I don't think they can win against LG, but I think in the lower bracket they could win some games. Yeah, so all in all, I think Citadel versus Conviction is definitely the series to watch this week, and I am looking forward to watching it.
What, you don't want to watch Supernova Blue Water?
I'm going to watch it, but I have low expectations. Sorry, Blue Water.
I'm just happy we're at a best of ones. That's
finally BO5.
That's mine. There's my final thought.
Hey, man.
We're done with best of ones.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a fun episode. Stay tuned for ACL this week. I'll be off on Tuesday, but we'll have A streams and B streams live on Monday and Tuesday, and we will see everybody next time. Maybe we record on Wednesday, maybe we don't. But there will be an episode at some point.
All right.
All right. Thank you.